mentoring is not a spoon feeding, right? I think a good mentor will definitely help you find your own voice, your own path, your own strengths, even help you identify your weaknesses as well. But ultimately, you are the one who will be in the driving seat to take control of it. I would like to use the word relationship building. It's a long game. It's not about instantly getting something. If I'm looking for a job, yes, I would reach out to my network, right? But it should not be networking should not be transactional. It shouldn't be your first conversation to, I want to network with you because I need a job. That it shouldn't be that way. Rather, one should focus on um, building those relationships and make it a long game.
Welcome back to Freedom to Learn podcast. My name is Gurumurthy Yeleswarapu, and this Freedom to Learn podcast is meant for youth to define their priorities as they progress through their academics. Okay, so we cover a lot of topics, anywhere from technology, and medicine, different subjects, all the way to sports and some of the other things. So today we have a super special guest, a very good friend of mine. His name is Amit Borwankar, and he's currently leading analytics team at Google, which is responsible for security, privacy, and compliance risk measurements. Before Google has built data analytics team at startups and have had led teams to companies like Allstate and Visa. He has a master's degree in computer science from United States of America. And more importantly, he's one of the best athletes I came across. He plays a lot of sports very well. I have a privilege to play with him side by side many times on the other side. So without further ado, I like to welcome Amit to our
Awesome. Thanks,
podcast.
Guru, for having me. You're too kind when you said you about the athlete and all that. We just play to have fun and get healthy. But no, first of all, thanks for having me. I think this topic of mentoring, networking, relationship building, and sports and all that, right? It's very close to my heart as well. I do practice it quite a bit, and I'm very happy to share 2 cents based on my learnings, my experience with all the listeners.
Fantastic. So today, just to reiterate that today our focus is mainly, pretty much on how mentors, networks, and sports shape your future. So essentially, how to unlock your potential using these. So I'm going to start with. I think to begin with, why don't you introduce yourself? How you started your life back in Bombay and how you ended up in US and everything up to Google.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a suburb of Bombay called Dombivli. I did my undergrad from KJ Somaya College of Engineering in computer science, and I was always interested in technology and had a childhood dream of coming to US for future opportunities. So I pursued my master's in computer science. I landed in Kent, Ohio, and after completing 2 years there, I got my first gig in a startup in San Diego, and in that kind of created my path for my future career, because in startup, of course, everyone is expected to wear multiple hats, and I and that's when I got a lot more interested in data and analytics, and I got some good opportunities over there to learn those things, which led to my role in insurance, and which later got acquired by Allstate. Uh, then I was interested in doing marketing analytics. This is when I joined Visa to lead their marketing analytics as well. And then I also got one more chance to be an early employee at a company called Nobler. I was, I think, the seventh or eighth employee over there, and I got an opportunity to lead the data and analytics team and build the team from scratch, um, which gave me an opportunity to get into Google later. And this is where I think I'm currently leading a team of analysts for mainly in the security, compliance, and privacy risk. So that has been my journey. Always interested in technology, always interested in data and analytics, which is my current field is, because that data and analytics, of course, enables to drive decisions, to make decisions, and that has always been my passion. And of course, throughout all this journey, I have had many mentors. I still currently do still have, and how it has benefited me in certain aspects of my career. So I would love to share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into it. So, yeah. So, why mentoring, uh, networking and sports, um, either individually or team sports? Why do you think they're very crucial for youth,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel it's crucial for everyone.
everybody?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at what journey you are at, but it is definitely more crucial for youth because during this age, I would say it's a little bit of uncertainty, right? I think during this age, you are going through a lot of big decisions. You are defining your education path, you are defining your career, you are thinking about your career, you are interested in probably more than one thing, you probably are not sure what which one to pursue. So having that guidance through the mentors, or having those connections to some professionals, and having those transferable skills provide you this support system and a toolkit, I would say, or a playbook, for a lack of better word, which can help you, which will help build a foundation for yourself. And what you build now, this foundation, which is the relationships, the skills, the confidence, will pay off massively down the line throughout your career. So I think that's why I think for this particular age group, when you refer youth, right, which is either the high schoolers or college going kids or early professionals, for them, having this foundation is definitely important. And of course, it's going a little bit beyond academics, right? Of course, in school, colleges, you learn a lot about different subjects, but there are, of course, the real world learnings, practical skills, opportunities that you don't often find in school. And through this mentoring or networking, you hear these experiences and learnings from the professionals that can help you bridge that gap between what you learn in school in theory versus in practice.
Yeah. So one thing I typically tell our academy students, and especially with the new programs for colleges, is, I always insist on having a mentor, and
Yep.
also you should mentor someone else.
Yep.
We call it continuous learning, meaning,
Absolutely.
so you learn when you mentor someone, and also you get to know more things through your mentors. So it's a so many times, like, at least the infrastructure that we have today in colleges and in general, anywhere, they don't provide that. And the reason I asked why is it important for youth is because something they must figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Um, there is no, program you sign up for where you get bunch of mentors or you get to mentor and things like that. At least
Yeah.
we are
Absolutely.
trying to do at Silicon Valley for you. But yeah, so that's the reason I was saying that. For even you are absolutely right. It matters to everybody. The ability to find both is a skill in itself, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you touched on very important over there, and I just want to highlight that. So, mentoring is not a spoon feeding, right? I think a good mentor, typically, they will help you understand your own path, how your own path is unique, and they'll help you navigate it. But it's ultimately your responsibility. You are in the driver's seat of your own career or of your own path, right? So I think I just wanted to clarify that. I know you touched upon it a little bit in you this thing that a good mentor will definitely help you find your own voice, your own path, your own strengths, even help you identify your weaknesses as well. But ultimately, you are the one who will be in the driving seat to take control of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I guess, yeah, to add to that, there are degrees of mentorship, right? Like at what level, right? So one of them, the one you mentioned is for mainly, I guess, adults and professionals. And sometimes, at least I can speak for myself. There were times where when I was very young, I wanted somebody to tell me what to do, because
Mhm.
absolutely, even if they give me a data or direction towards something, I really didn't know what that means. What if I do this? I couldn't even comprehend
Mhm.
what
Yeah,
the guidance was. And even then I was nervous to take that path because I didn't have good understanding. So I just felt that, man, somebody can come in and say, okay, do this. So
yeah.
that puts at least our mind at ease. And anyway, you'll never know what would have happened if you took the other path. But
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. But I think I think to to help out in this situation, that's why you need a good network around you. At least you should know whom to reach out, right? That's the step one, right? Whenever you identify a problem and where you need some help to tackle that problem, or you're not sure which path to take, you should at least know in your network these are two or three people whom I can reach out. So that's why having that foundation of network of people around you is important.
100%. There's no doubt. That applies to all ages, though, not just youth.
Yep,
You're
absolutely.
100%. In fact, it's much easier for youth to have a network, especially in India,
Yeah,
than as you get older. Um, so I guess now, like I think that's a nice segue into what we were talking about, right? Why should someone actually seek out a mentor? So how does how so you like I think you kind of touched upon it already, but so without feeling awkward, meaning like many times young folks have certain when as they go through certain phases, they go through situations where I don't need to be told. I know what I'm doing. Or
yeah.
so yeah, things of that nature. So yeah, so can you maybe give some throw some light on why and how they can find someone.
Yeah. So, for why, right? As I said, is helping navigate some of the uncertainties in life, uh, help problem solve, uh, uh, or help, help make certain decisions. That's why you need mentors around you, right? But again, going back to what I said earlier, is you are still in the driver's seat. So even if a mentor tells you, gives their own perspective, ultimately you are the one who is making a decision. All of these different, the advice from mentor or more than one mentor, those could be a good input for you to make a decision, but ultimately you are the one who is finally making a decision. But let me also touch upon how part of it, right? And it can appear as a very strong word like mentoring or networking. It's much simpler than what we think it is. It's just the having someone a little bit more experienced in a particular area around you. Um, someone who can guide you, someone who can offer you some advice, who can share their journey, or sometimes someone who can just act as a sounding board. So it doesn't also have to be super formal, but it can be formal also. Like especially in corporates, there are formal mentoring programs. For example, in Google, I'm personally involved in multiple mentoring programs where, based on your preferences and things like that, you get matched with a mentor, and it's a very formal relationship. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can sound scary, for especially for the young professional. The mentor could be your teacher from your school or a college. It could be a coach of your team. It could be a family friend. It could be someone you met at the gym. It could be your senior in school or college, right? It could be anyone, right? Who can basically can give you their perspective, right? Um, Ultimately, it's all about your own growth, and mentor will enable you to see these different possibilities, navigate through challenges, uh, help build the confidence in you, and help you navigate through different paths.
Got it. So now, that leads to the next one, right? So in order to have mentors, you need to have a network. Uh,
Yeah,
and so, yes, there is a network concept usually, comes with the professionals or people who are trying to do businesses together. They come together, and usually the word that we coin and networking is for, jobs or finding businesses or some other reasons for adults. So when it comes to youth, so what does that mean? Like networking for youth mean?
yeah. Again, again, you can take two approaches: formal, informal. Let me touch upon the formal approach. Formal approach is, of course, there are a lot of meetups in the communities, right? Let's say if you're interested in AI, there are always meetups happening in. So you just look for those kind of meetups. You look for different kind of clubs. You look for gym memberships, or clubs in your school or college, right? That's the formal way. By joining these some of the meetups, depending on your interest. But the informal way is just look around, right? In your own circle, in your friend circle, who seems approachable, who is that person that you look up to, who has that experience that you value. And then once you identify these people, right, start small. I think you shouldn't go and ask as, hey, will you be my mentor, and things like that. Again, um, for in corporate, when, as I mentioned about the mentoring program, this is okay, because that's the whole point of of these programs. But when you're doing something informally, you start small, ask for advice on some specific topic. Let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say I'm interested in learning more about Gen AI. Where do I start? So if I know a friend who has been working in Gen AI, asking them about advice on this particular topic, then one thing is, show that initiative, respect, and show that interest to them. Be prepared, value their time, be genuinely curious about it, and follow up. Because many a times what happens is, yes, for the first time, yes, you will get an advice. People generally are willing to help. They will give you 30 minutes, they'll give you, but think about it, in the next interaction, what is that one thing that I can share with that person which will be also valuable to them? Because at the end of the day, everyone's time is very valuable, right? uh, yes, in mentoring, it shouldn't always be the one way street. Yes, in the initial relationship building, um, I probably will be seeking a lot more information than what I can provide. But over the time, I think that other person, the mentor, should also be able to get something from you, uh, um, so that their time can also be valuable. So I think, to answer your question in really short is, start small, ask for an advice for a specific topic, look around, identify those few people who seem approachable, who have experience that you value, and then build a relationship based on that.
Yeah. So, so one thing I guess I learned in at least from limited experience of sales I have. I'm not a sales guy or sales. That sales is not my forte, but I do sales. Um, One thing I was told by someone is you set up for a meeting, coffee meeting, when you don't need them. When you're not trying to sell something, set up a coffee meeting. And then when you are really selling something, then it's easier to get their attention. So, if I take that sort of analogy, so like, typically, um, there is a tendency to get in touch with somebody when you need them, right? So, so don't do that is what I've been told.
Yeah.
Meaning, why do you have to? So, what's your suggestion to the young professionals to network now, although you're not looking for any favors from them, so to speak?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I cannot thank you enough for bringing this up, because this is super important point in networking, or rather, more than networking, I would like to use the word relationship building. It's a long game. It's not about instantly getting something. So rather, many mentors would not prefer if someone reaches out to them and asks for a job, that, hey, I'm looking for a job, can you refer me? That's the last thing you want to do. It's all about long-term relationship building, and building these genuine connections with people who share your interest, or where you aspire to be. um, and every conversation, right, is a chance to learn something new about them, about that mentor, about a skill or a different perspective. But to answer your question, it's a long game. It's about building community of people
Yeah,
you can learn from. And exactly right, it shouldn't happen that, yes, you I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't ask for a job for someone, but that shouldn't be your first conversation. But once you have this network of people, yes, at some point, if I'm looking for a job, yes, I would reach out to my network, right? But it should not be the networking should not be transactional. It shouldn't be your first conversation to, I want to network with you because I need a job. That it shouldn't be that way. Rather,
yeah,
one should focus on um, building those relationships and make it a long game.
yeah, no, 100%. Um, so, that essentially networking. mm, is also like networking can happen in many ways, but one of them that brings a lot of people together is sports, right? Whether you play them or watch them.
Yep.
In fact, I think watching sports brings a lot more people than actually playing, I guess. Um, so now, so I know there are a lot of folks. I was talking to someone um, sometime back. There are quite a few people that never ever showed any interest in sports whatsoever, which is okay, and nothing wrong with it. But so for the upcoming youth, being passionate about sports, whether it's team sport or individual sport, most
Yep.
more so in team sports, how that lead to bring like-minded people together, and
Yeah.
because you've been a sports guy all your life, so you want to talk more about it.
Yeah, yeah, and again, thanks for bringing this up, because I find it very closely tied how what you can learn from sports and apply in your professional life, because ultimately, what's common in both, whether it's your professional life in sports, is people. ultimately you're dealing with people, whether you're playing a sport or whether you are working with them. And people, whenever you're dealing with people, there are, of course, people have different perspectives, context, background. People behave differently in different situation. uh, and what sports teaches you is, of course, the team sport I'm talking about is the teamwork and collaboration, which is essential in every job or a project. Uh, Sports force you to work with others towards a common goal, navigate different personalities, understand your role, right? Especially if you're playing a team sport. Let's take an example of basketball. There are five positions. Every position has a significance, and understanding that that role that I'm supposed to play point guard, this is what I'm expected to do, is super important. The other thing is, what sports teaches you is the discipline and commitment, especially whoever has played competitive sports, showing up on time for practices, showing up on time for games, pushing through the fatigue, managing your time. All these things build a work ethic. There's a famous quote of one legendary basketball coach, Mike Brown. It's very simple, but it stayed with me quite a bit. If you live right, you play right,
Yeah.
and the essence is how you behave in your personal life, how committed you are, how disciplined you are. It's going to show up on the court, right? Um, in addition to that, also the resilience and handling pressure, right? um, uh, Again, learning to lose gracefully, bouncing back from setbacks, performing under pressure. These are huge life lessons, and sports provide that safe space to practice these things. The other thing also is about leadership and communication. Again, as I said, let's take example of basketball, where there is a point guard who is calling the plays, who is calling the teammates, who is passing the ball, who is giving some feedback about the passes and things like that. So this provides you the good leadership and communication opportunities to develop these skills.
Yeah. No, actually, to add to that, I think you touched upon it. To be, one of the things that teaches human beings in general, whether it's young or otherwise, is how to lose. I think that's what Michael Jordan said once. What was that you had? What did you learn last 2, 3 years when he started off in the league? He said that I figured out how to lose. So
Yeah,
usually we say how we figured out how to win.
yeah,
So figuring out how to lose is also is so we are it's extremely emotional, uh, and your skill is on display in real time, and you have to be thick-skinned if you're not doing so well on that particular day. But at the same time, you have to maintain the composure and confidence, more importantly, and then come back next day and then try to beat them, right? So
yeah,
which is tremendous skill to learn, in my humble opinion, because that happens
yeah,
in life. So we have bad days. I had a bad day yesterday. So all these generally happens, and then so how do you just get past sleep and get up in the morning and the fresh day? Let's
yeah,
go and then make it happen, right? So um I think that's one thing that, yeah, at least I learned through, I didn't play that much growing up, but with my kids, when they were playing, I was able to grasp from what they were going through. uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, other thing is, one more thing that I like to highlight is, watching sports also builds nice groups. It's kind of an icebreaker, when you get together and watch cricket.
yeah,
We do all that.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's definitely one of the channels of in fun. It's funny. back in the day when I was new to this country, the reason why I started watching sports is exactly for the reason that you mentioned, because I was in Ohio, uh, so there is not much Indian community. Of course, I was surrounded by students, but I wanted to make that connection with Americans that time, and I found, and I was doing this internship. This is where I had a exposure to American professionals, and everyone would always talk about either basketball or football. And although I was always interested in sports, but growing up, I didn't watch basketball or I didn't watch American football. But that's when I made it a point to learn and start watching these sports. It definitely helped me in during my internship, because I then it boosted my confidence that I could now have conversations with my coworkers about what is happening around us, and things like that, and definitely boosted my confidence, and it 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 reflected also in my performance. So I think that's
Yeah.
definitely I can resonate with that.
In fact, for those who don't know, me and Amit and a bunch of other guys, we play pickleball. And if you jog down the memory, it's not too far away, but it's like 1.5 years, maybe a little over a year. Um, the sport somehow brought us together, and then
Yeah.
we created some kind of a religion. Every Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, we show up and play.
Yep.
We have coffee. Just people look forward to it. Some of the folks don't want to buy house away from Bay Club where we go to play because they don't want to miss pickleball.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they are kind of designing their lives around pickleball. Um, and um, and definitely, I personally, yeah, feel that I'm very fortunate to be part of that group now. Not only doing pickleball, doing quite a few other things in
Yeah.
outside of sport as well.
Yep.
Which is we have to take that as a fortunate thing. Meaning, at certain age, one thing I learned in my life is there are a lot of good, friendships and solid bondings you have in schools, colleges, when you have no money or anything transaction
Yeah.
associated with it. It's very pure. And if I meet my classmates, we hit it off in 30 seconds. Same with you. And then, it takes a while. I mean, it's very difficult to find that kind of friendship. Usually you find acquaintances through careers and things like that. And you have to be very lucky to find people that are really close and you can share a lot of things together. And we were fortunate. And then I'm saying that pickleball, which is happening sport, by the way, and brought us together. And in fact, we competed with the other bunch of gang from Southern
Yeah.
California,
Yeah. Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think almost after 30 years playing a tournament, oops, whatever that means. So eh, credit to sports. And
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so
And even in that tournament, right? I mean, since you brought it up, even in that tournament, although it was all friendly and all, but yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I participated in any kind of a tournament, right? So at some point, I definitely during the tournament, I did feel a little bit of pressure, and especially in doubles, right? When you have a partner and when you are making mistakes, you're
mistakes.
kind of letting your partner down,
Yes.
and that's a I hadn't experienced that feeling in a long time. So yeah, definitely sports uh, helped you know through all these different emotions which you experience in professional or even in personal life. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everything, should be structured like that. So much positive atmosphere, and even in life at work or whatever, if you have a situation going on, you have a bunch of people cheering you up and rooting for you, and it's amazing, right? Even I felt tremendous pressure. In fact, I was damn nervous. And but one thing I remember, one particular game, the fourth game, I guess, when we were playing, you guys were all rooting for us, shouting, going crazy. Man, I had goosebumps. I mean, probably that was my only sport. So many people are rooting for me, or for us, me and Dinakar. Um,
Yeah.
and that's it. And at the end of the day, the end result, yeah, sure, it's all good. But the whole journey of experiencing that is
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I think that all these memories, right? Of course, my your kids also played sports. My kids are also into sports, but just those little memories that they create through sports, right? They live with you forever.
correct.
Yeah. So my son was playing baseball. He had one moment of walk off.
Wow.
He didn't even know what that meant, to be honest. It was his first season. He had no idea. They were down by one or whatever. He hit it, and he did a walk off, and then everyone started congratulated him,
Oh
and
man.
that's when he realized the significance of it.
Yeah.
But or even in some small moments in basketball where but yeah, those are the things that stay with you.
Yeah. No, I think the main difference between sports and academics or something else is you're performing, and your result and feedback is instant. So you get to know the results right then and there. It's not like you write an exam and it shows up after 3 months, and
Yeah,
some know, some don't know. And there are people watching you real time, which is already is it pressure. And then
yeah,
on top of that, you get to know pass or fail right then and there. So that's what, in a way, it's good. And if you can sort of orient yourself towards performing,
yeah,
that will help you in many situations, whether you're trying to sell something, presenting something to somebody, or anything that you're doing at work. You are kind of performing, and so that's, I think, that comes handy. And you also, hopefully, I mean, I think most probably you lose that stage fright of performing in front of people, and not thinking, or analyzing whether I'm going to fail or pass and whatnot, or I
yeah.
succeed or not. So I mean, that process, that going through it, right? There is no book for it. You just have to
You
experience
just
it.
have to experience it, exactly.
Yeah. So that way, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I have some little bit of hand-eye coordination, and I got into the sport. At least I'm able to play one. So at least that gives me 2-3 days of playing time. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's happening sport. I just read the other day. You must have read, right? So it seems pickleball is replacing golf now for
Oh
playing
yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
So I think maybe we should put more time into pickleball. At least for me, I have to. Um, so like last year, right? The last part is, can sports also be a vehicle for mentoring and networking?
Yeah, I mean, uh, because especially if you are whether it's an individual sport or team sport, you will be dealing with people. You will have a you will have a group to play with. So that's your essentially the first network that you can rely on. And again, everyone, especially in a diverse community, people will have different backgrounds, different context, different upbringings, and they would have different interest. So you are basically the circle multiplies, right? I think, I mean, this is what has happened in our group as well, right? Now, so it's a group of around 10 people, but everyone has different set of interests, different. So everyone has their own circle. So everyone's circle is now pretty much multiplied. So yeah, so short answer is absolutely. I think that's your first group with whom you play with. as a as as your networking, or as a mentor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is cool. I mean, this is my favorite topic too, obviously. I'm into sports and I don't play a lot of them. I watch all of them. Um, but I like to play. I want to be outdoors, so definitely I strongly encourage and hopefully, I don't know, people, just for those listeners, Amit is one of the top players in badminton, pickleball,
No,
racquetball.
no, sir.
What is it?
Uh, Please
Yeah,
do not fool your audience.
no, no, no.
I just
No, no, this is true. This is
I
true.
just play to
This is
have
true.
fun.
This is true. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now. So yeah, cricket we're all okay. But but these three definitely. He has the way with the racket. Oh, pick up a ping pong too. By the way, I was thinking I forgot something. Um, and more importantly, I forgot to in the introduction. I forgot to mention about one great quality of what Amit is the amazing host, the
Oh.
best I came across. No, this is true. I'm not making it up. I witnessed personally a few times. Um, Probably it's in the DNA. It looks like maybe it's some qualities like Michael Jordan, right? They
No,
just
I think so. Again, it's a little bit related to the topic, right? I mean, we've been talking about the relationship building, networking, and all of that, right? And I genuinely invest time in these, whether in my personal network, whether it's in my professional network, in office and things like that, right? So it's basically a result of that. I mean, me and my wife love
yes,
hosting people, because
yes.
we both like to invest in building those relationships. So yeah.
Now, trust me. On that note, I want to spend few seconds on this. In fact, in the recent after we met our gang, maybe around that time, so I've been doing exclusively that to just for myself and my business. Um, I I mean meaning you are 100% right that at the end of the day, see the whole society world is structured around networking. I'll tell you what I mean by that. For instance, we have a laptop. Somebody made that laptop. I know I gave the money, but somebody made it. If somebody didn't make it, I don't have a laptop. I can't make a
Hmm.
laptop, and I can't do all my clothes, anything and everything I'm using. I can't just sit in my garage and do it. It's not possible. So you have to rely on someone else.
Yep.
How it is, period. It's already built in. So there are when I hear people say, hey, this person is want to be aloof or don't want to be blah blah, I always wonder how it's going to work, because when you eat food you're using somebody's help already. I know you're paying, but still somebody made that food for you. So
Yeah.
um so I guess if you kind of extrapolate from that, um I think it's important to understand, I think, first how you can be resourceful to someone. That's what you're saying about hosting.
Absolutely.
You do an
Yep.
amazing job, but and so like I said, I think that it starts from there. Once it starts kind of um, leads way to bring in more people, and you become approachable and the whole nine yards, and then that translates to good things in life in general, whether it's it can be transactional at some point, but even before that happens, a lot of good things can potentially happen. Um, so with that, I really, really want to thank you. And I know, by the way, for those, this topic and even this, most of the content was prepared by Amit. I'm just, I'm just being arching it, I guess. Um, and thank you very much. I know we are up. I think our time reached, and probably we'll do it one more, maybe
Yeah, absolutely.
more in
Anytime.
depth.
Yep.
And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday, tomorrow morning at 7.
Yep,
And
yep. No,
thanks, everyone.
thanks Guru for having me. I think through this Silicon Valley for you, you've been doing an amazing job to provide content, to share the learnings through different professionals, whether it through podcast or whether it through offering them different courses and giving them that real life experiences which they may not get in school. So you're doing an amazing job for the young professionals. And yeah, I'm just happy and excited that I could share 2 cents with your audience. But keep up the good work. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.